My dear 101ers, I hope that you've had a lovely week full of sunlight, exercise, and proper hydration. I've certainly had a nice time exercising and riding my bicycle. And in fact, just yesterday, I went with a few friends to ride a bit on the Santa Ana River Trail for a bit. It was a lot of fun. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's a really cool trail. Can you believe it? It goes all the way from San Bernardino off of Waterman all the way to the beach. I don't recall if it's Huntington Beach or Newport, but the fact that it goes so long is really amazing. So, Santa Ana River Trail. It's a cool one. So that's what I was doing yesterday. How are you guys? How's your week going? Tell me in the chat. So we're going to start this week's module with a cool joke. Check this out. And this is our joke for the week. Why did the nurse need a red pen at work? The answer is, in case she needed to draw blood. So with that, we start this week's module. Let's first take a look at our syllabus to see our signposts of what we have ahead. Module 10. Oh, we have our workshop for our entertainment as political paper. Very cool, very cool. As you can see, drafts will be due, as usual, on Wednesday by 11:59 p.m. Remember, just like with the other drafts, you will not get a draft unless you submit a draft yourself by the respective deadline. The feedback for your classmates will be due by Sunday by 11:59 p.m. So those are our signposts for this week. And without further ado, let's dive into our Canvas page, into our module 10. So here is the link for the Entertainment as Political Peer Review Workshop. Let's take a look at the guiding questions. The logistics will be the same. Remember, you can leave when the time comes to leave feedback, you can leave typed out feedback, video feedback, audio feedback, all that jazz. Okay, so let's dive into the guiding questions. Number 1, I want you to highlight the thesis in your classmates' drafts. Remember that in this thesis, they're presenting just what their cultural artifact is, and their thesis has to be grounded upon connotation, which is to say that it's a discovery where they utilize like an indirect suggestion, maybe a larger meaning of a theme or a message or a takeaway, essentially something that they unearthed through moving through this process of textual analysis, which is moving from denotation, which is surface level, to connotation, which is deeper level meaning. Remember, you're considering indirect suggestions, connections to real life, so on and so forth. Okay, so does the thesis make it clear just what their chosen cultural artifact is? And not only that, but is the cultural artifact sufficiently narrow? Rather than choosing all of the Stranger Things series, for example, let's say, no, we want them to choose at least just one episode, right? Focus your attention on one episode. Rather than choosing all the repertoire of a musical artist, no, choose one song. Make your task that much easier, okay? Narrow your focus. That makes this assignment all the more viable. Does their thesis make it clear what they're saying about an aspect of their cultural artifact? Okay, so their thesis, remember, what they have to say is not just summary. It's not just, let me tell you what happens in The Lion King. First of all, there's this cub called Simba, and he has a father who's the king, who's Mufasa, and he's born into that pride, and then there's a jealous uncle called Scar. No, the task is not just so much to just delineate all the plot points of your cultural artifact. No. The task is to uncover something. I love this example here. Here's a good potential model to build a paper for this thesis, just like what we did with the Sneetches, right? Discussion board. So I like to view it like this. Okay, ultimately, there's a reason that the artists, everyone involved, created this cultural artifact, created this music video, created this episode, created this picture book, created this whatever your cultural artifact is, I like to think of it like this: like, what's the larger theme or message or takeaway? What are you left with, right? Well, what, like, if you're doing a Dr. Seuss book, what's the message that they're leaving you with? Which is exactly what you did anyway with the Sneetches. Um, how does your artifact reflect this? So it's not enough to say that your artifact reflects this, but you need to make it clear just how it reflects this. So perhaps it's through the fact of what what ideas and values the protagonist embodies and represents, right? Because oftentimes the values and ideas that the protagonist embodies are the ideas and values that are being promoted, that are being hoisted by the cultural artifact, right? By the episode, by the music video, whatever the case. And the antagonist, those values and traits are the values and traits that are being damned, are being decried as being not good, as if you'll say it, or bad, right? So how does it reflect this? If you're looking at a music video, does the message of the music video, is it reflected through, like, what is it in its visuals? Is there some sort of symbolic representation of something, maybe some connection to real life, or what? What do you see in the lyrics too? Take a look at the lyrics. Do they use maybe figurative language, like a rhyme scheme? Like, if, let's say you're looking at a hip hop song, I don't know, maybe you're looking at Public Enemy's Fight the Power or something, and what happens in the music video, what's happening in the lyrics, how are they using rhyme scheme to really bring a point home? Like, what? So you see what we mean by saying that, by how does your artifact reflect this? How does it do it? So if it's like a Dr. Seuss book, what's happening in the illustrations? What's happening in the story itself? How is it doing that, right? So think of it this, not just saying that it is reflecting it. Okay, that's step one, but how is it reflecting it? Okay, so what's the larger takeaway of your artifact? How does the artifact reflect this? And then, if there's any connections to real life, and that's linked to this, the so what? Why does this larger message or theme matter? Why is it important? Why should you care, right? Why is it a big deal? Why does it matter? Does their thesis offer reasons to support their claim? Meaning, like, are they offering, like, examples? Like, if you're answering this stuff, then you're offering reasons. You're saying how your artifact reflects this, right? Here's here's the implications and all of that. So as long if you're doing this, following something along this line, then you're offering reasons, you're offering examples, right? Is your thesis grounded upon connotation? That's huge. Okay, if you get a draft, my friends, where it's just saying, okay, in the video game Undertale, here's everything that happens, but they don't really say, like, okay, well, what's the larger message? What's the takeaway? What's the theme? See, if the thesis is just denotation, just plot points, no, you got to help your classmate out. It has to be grounded upon connotation. If you use this, it's a good guide. Remember that to do this textual analysis, if you want, you can revisit the textual analysis lecture or even the handout. Here's some things that of how you make that move. You consider indirect suggestions, social cultural overtones, connections to real life. Why it matters is the implications, the so what question, right? Yeah, check this out. Reminder, things such as a larger message or theme are results of connotative discovery, right? Unpacking the message or theme or takeaway of your cultural artifact requires textual analysis. It requires connotative discovery, because it's not like the movie that you just finished saying outright tells you, okay, hello viewer, let me tell you exactly what this film is about. They're not going to break the fourth wall and just direct you, talk to you, unless it's like a Woody Allen film or something. Okay, so you got to do some of that discovery. Enumerating plot points are not connotation, so it's not the task. Of course, you want to use plot points to help support your discovery of the fact that, say, I don't know, the Lorax has a message for why it's important to protect our planet, to preserve, to conserve, our planet, our flora and fauna, right? But yeah, that's the whole point. Like the thesis is really important, especially here that you're looking at your the rough drafts, because it's the central project of the paper, right? Are the body paragraphs moving to flesh out and support the project set forth in their thesis? Right. So everything in the body paragraph should somehow help to bolster, to further explore, to expand upon this larger project, to offer examples, to connections to real life, to talk about why it matters, is just the implications, um, to talk about what it is that is happening in the cultural artifact, that is helping to demonstrate this larger message, this larger takeaway. How are they doing it, right? Yeah, you don't just want to summarize plot points without rhyme or reason. That's actually the pitfall with this paper. It's easy to get stuck with just enumerating plot points without rhyme or reason, but you have to have that central project honed in. Okay, everything in there is working to talk about that. Like I said, like if you're looking at like what's the larger takeaway, what's the larger message, how the artifact reflects this, why, if there's any connections to real life, why it matters, so on and so forth. That's your project, right? How's the conclusion looking, if they have one, if they've gotten there? Is there a works cited page if they've gotten there? So that is our those are our workshop questions for this week. Have fun with this, guys. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and we can set up a Zoom meeting. So with that being said, enjoy your week, and happy workshopping, guys. See you next week.